everyone, and welcome to a last minute Christmas crafting video by yours truly, Erica. Today I am going to be using some yummies from Catherine Poulas. I am going to be stamping up some The Man with the Bag stamps, the cute little hats and the beards. And I'll of course be using the coordinating die cuts. To finish off these tags, I will also be using Making Spirits Bright stamp set because they have some really fun and nice different fonts, sentiments to just kind of bring it all together. After stamping up my images with Ink on 3 blackout detail ink, I decided to color in all my images with different Copics, and I've just gone for reds and greens. And the card or the paper is of course Neenah. So here we are going to be cutting these out, and then I found in my stash, because I apparently don't have very many tag dies, this is one that I cut out from one of probably the oldest dies I have in my stash. I think this must be a good 10 years old. It's actually from Sizzix and it's just called Tag. And here I made a bit of a mistake because I decided to do some ink blending, but I have cut these tags out of Neenah cardstock, so it didn't actually blend that well, but with the help of my life-changing blender brushes and the eucalyptus ink from the Catherine Poulas Spark collection, I still managed to add quite a nice sort of bit of color. And it did, once it dried, it did actually look a lot better. It kind of calm down a little bit, because obviously once you add the ink it saturates the paper, but once it dries it just comes up really nicely. And then I'm going to be stamping up the Making Spirits Bright sentiment on the bottom of my tag, and I've used the Wow embossing pad here, and I'm going to be using the metallic gold sparkle embossing glitter for like extra glitz and glamour. Right, I always, almost always use a sheet of paper. This is just super cheap, like printer paper basically. And you just pop your project on top, tap off the excess, or obviously first add your embossing powder, and then tap off the excess, and then you just fold the paper up and let the powder slip back into the jar. One of the tips that Wow embossing people say is that you should never ever put this the powder into like plastic tubs or other plastic storage containers, because they actually are already anti-static, and if you do add them into a plastic container, then all that static will start well, obviously go back into the powder. And you can see here I haven't actually used my anti-static tool, but upon closer inspection you will see that there is not actually that much that's gone where it shouldn't go. So this is the magic of Wow embossing powder. Then to finish off the card, I am going to use my green little elf hat. I'm pretty sure this is an elf hat, not a Santa hat. And we are just going to be gluing that on with the liquid glue tube from Lawn Fawn. I go through these like crazy. Oh, and if you hear lots of like rustling and banging in the background, I'm really sorry about that. But today, despite blue skies and sunshine, it is super windy. And the wind is just howling around like, I don't know, like a monkey. And yeah, nowhere in this house, despite it having 4 floors, is quiet. So if I wanted to get this video done, I just had to kind of knuckle down and do it. So hope you can bear with me. And as a finishing touch, I wanted to add some ribbon, but I had a bit of an issue here because this ribbon has also sat in my stash for a year. So I should have probably tried to iron it and make it flat, but I didn't. And then also I think I would have needed a bigger hole at the top, but I decided to fix this by just pulling the ribbon through and then tying a like gold string around it to again kind of go in with the green and gold look. Then on the back of this we are gonna to just stamp up to and from, and this is also in the Making Spirits Bright stamp set. And again, of course, I'm using eucalyptus to stick with the color scheme. And there we go, just pop that on, and that's one tag done. For the next two, I decided to do, obviously because the hats are red, we're going to go with a bit of a reddish theme. And even though I had an issue with the wrong paper, I decided to kind of just forge ahead and create a bit of a different look. So on this one, I have used the Spotlight stencil, and instead of going for like a super soft and smooth blend, I have first rubbed on the color and then just kind of tapped with my blender brush to just create a little bit of like pattern in there to kind of make it look like old-fashioned peppermint treats, I guess. And then I had a similar faffing with the bow for this tag, which I did actually use one of those hole punches to kind of open it up and make it bigger. But I think next time I might just make the bow and glue it onto the tag instead of trying to kind of fold it in or tie it up with the string. For the last tag, I have used the Believe, and again, this is from Making Spirits Bright. And I stamped this up with Rocking Red, just in like a pattern to kind of make it almost look like pattern paper. And I started out with the Believe in the middle to make sure that it got exactly where I wanted, and then I have just stamped up the rest of them around. And I kind of like it just as it is. I mean, that would be kind of fun. Yeah, I really like that. But I'm going to add the Santa hat and the beard after all. And with this one, again, my ribbon game is not very strong. But I decided just to keep it super simple and just kind of make it tie it off a little bit. But I will need to use my fabric scissors to kind of clean that up a little bit at the top. And then I realized, I didn't stamp this anything on the back, which again, I should have probably done to start with, because obviously you get a flatter surface if you don't have anything added to the front when you do the back. And for this one, I decided to use This Present Is For You. And again, I stamped it up with the coordinating color Rocking Red to keep everything in the same color family. And you will see that even though I try to make it like a really nice hard impression, that it's not quite perfect, but I do believe it would have been if it hadn't been for the fact that the Santa hat and the beard on the other side kind of made the paper not super flat. But there we have it, 3 quick tags done in, I think this was like, I don't know, half an hour or so. Even, I mean, and that includes all the faffing with the string. So yeah, it can be done even for someone who isn't usually very good at tags like me. Thank you so much for stopping by today and spending this time with me. If you wanted to grab any of these for yourself, I will pop them down below with affiliate links in the comment sections. And I hope you consider giving this a thumbs up and maybe subscribing to my channel. Happy holidays, everyone!